Today we're going to talk about what a cavity is. Cavity is basically a small dental infection of the tooth. It's usually comprised of bacteria, and it's a bacterial infection that kind of occurs on different surfaces of the tooth. When caught very early, it's usually not a very painful procedure. However, as it gets more advanced, it can get closer and deeper down into the nerve and cause irritations such as hot-cold sensitivity, biting sensitivity, and gum tenderness. The way we treat a cavity is with what we call a filling. And in order to do that, we basically have to go in and remove the cavity, make sure that the cavity's been removed and there is no more bacterial infection. Then we proceed on with doing a filling. In this model, basically we have is a designation of what a typical cavity would look like. When you're going around the mouth looking for cavities, we're looking for basically dark, heavy stains or anything that looks a little unusual. So here on this tooth, we basically have this dark light basically highlighting an example of what a cavity looks like. This is on the second tooth on the very back on the upper right, and what you're seeing is some very heavy stain with a little bit of cavity. Once we've identified that that's a cavity, at that point that's when we decide that we're going to do a filling. So the first step in basically doing a filling is going in and basically numbing up or anesthetizing the patient. We do this in order to make the patient very comfortable so that when we go and remove the cavity, it does not cause any irritation or annoyance to the patient. We'll take what we call our handpiece and basically go in there and lightly clean out the cavity like so. And basically once we've cleaned out the cavity, what we'll do next is go in with our instruments and basically check to ensure all the stain is removed and there isn't anything sticky or anything a little irritating to the tooth. Once we verify that all the cavity has been cleaned out, the next step would be to actually do the filling. So what we do is we take our tooth-colored filling material and we gently add it to the space where we had taken the cavity out. So again, it's a tooth-colored material that typically blends very nice and very clean. So we're going to go through and just lightly put our material right into the tooth. And once we have it filled, we use a special light to set it up. Filling materials start out very soft in order to be able to mold them appropriately to the tooth. Once it's been molded, then we use a special light that when shined on the material, it turns it very hard and makes it very strong. We'll put our light over top of the tooth that we did the filling, and by activating a small button, we actually initiate a light reaction that makes the material really hard. And that typically takes anywhere from about 20 to 30 seconds depending on how big the cavity was and how thick the filling would be. Once that process has been completed, the dentist will go back and check the filling to make sure that it's set up and it's hard. So what started out as very soft is now very hard with the curing light. Once we verify that the tooth has been filled, the last step would be to go in and check the bite to ensure that the patient was not biting heavy or hard on this tooth. And that is pretty much a filling.